My Dead Dad's Porno Tapes is a 2018 short documentary that follows filmmaker Charlie Terrell re-examining the relationship between him and his father after his death in 2008. The film was directed and written by Terrell with contributions from other members of his family through interviews which provide further insight into this relationship. This analysis will consider how the mode of the film is developed by how Terrell presents the content and the style in which he chooses to do so. Examples of stylistic aspects from the film will be analysed to prove how it is an example of the performative mode. Rather than focus on a broad subject, Terrell focuses his story on the underdeveloped relationship between father and son and his journey to find out more about him. We are directed through the story by a voiceover written but not performed by Terrell. The voiceover relies on humour and dramatic presentation when suitable to keep the audience engaged with the story. The narrator defines Terrell's plan as pretty stupid and describes his father's leftover belongings as weird stuff. The narrator occasionally switches to a more somber and reflective tone, such as when he mentions his father's death and abuse. This expressive style of presenting the content is a clear way in which the mode is further established, as the performative mode relies on expressive engagement with the filmmaker's issue. In this case, not only is Terrell engaging with his father's death through comedy and drama, he also maintains a distance between him and the audience through the narration. A further way in which this distance between Terrell and the audience is emphasized is through the point of view that the film is set. Terrell has written the film's narration in third person, so that the narrator acts as our guide into the story and dynamics of his family. The very fact that Terrell is the one who has created the film reinforces the mode. The performative mode is often created by a member of the community the film is discussing. The only sources Terrell relies on are his own memory and story, family interviews, and personal belongings of his family and father. A main component of performative documentaries is the filmmaker's subjective framing of the work. Subjective and personal framing of the story can be seen when Terrell selectively chooses sources of information that only his family could provide to tell his father's story through the people who knew him the most. The establishment of the subjective way Terrell presents the story is another way in which a performative mode of the film can be seen. Throughout the film, Terrell uses a distinctive form of stop-motion animation to express how much he has learnt about his father. Once again, the prioritizing of the filmmaker's feelings and views reflect the performative mode. The objectives used in the stop-motion are all relevant to the story of Terrell's father. The film mainly relies on the leftover junk that Terrell hopes will be able to tell him more about his father. The film also features photographs, documents, devices, and tape recordings to form the objects which flow around the screen. A unique vision is one of the most identifiable ways a performative film can enhance a director's personal vision or the narrative. An example of such a unique choice in cinematography can be seen when Terrell chooses to create an image of his father out of his old junk, to, in his words, explain why his dad was the way he was. Another way the emotional impact is maintained through the film is through Terrell's use of recordings. Terrell chooses to play a tape that his father recorded, showing Terrell's grandmother being abusive towards his father. The tape serves as a kind of reenactment of events to show why Terrell's father is the way he is, except it is more effective as it is a real recording. Ray Tajiri's History and Memory recreates a reenactment of an account of the filmmaker's experience in an internment camp in order to achieve a style that is distinctly performative. A form of such reenactment is shown in the film when Terrell presents a recording of his father and grandmother fighting in order to create a sense of the abuse his father faced. The formation of such a deeply personal and emotionally effective scene enhances how this documentary is performative. This analysis has shown how Terrell has used stylistic choices to create an engaging and personal documentary. The style of the film is thrown through the unique way in which he tells the story and the elements he uses to enhance its emotional effect. Through the choices in presenting style, narration, and performances shown in My Dead Dad's Porno Tapes, Terrell has created an expressive and emotional documentary that is a perfect example of performative mode.